Welcome back to NotebookLM. Today, we are diving into a huge and honestly pretty scary public health challenge, the growing crisis of antibiotic resistance. You see, the cures that we've relied on for almost 100 years are, well, they're starting to fail. But what if the answer isn't some brand new high-tech drug, but something much, much older? We're going to explore the fascinating world of herbal antibiotics, and we'll be guided by the research in Mary Jones's book of the same name. Okay, let's get into it.
So to really get why this is so urgent, let's just start with a number, 48 million. To put that into perspective for you, a CDC report from back in 2011 found that's how many Americans were getting sick from foodborne bacteria every single year. That's literally 1 out of every 6 people. This kind of constant exposure is a big part of what's fueling the larger problem. It creates this battlefield where bacteria are just constantly evolving to survive our best weapons against them.
And yeah, that really brings us to the heart of the issue, the superbug crisis. Now, this is not science fiction, okay? This is happening right now. It's a reality where common, everyday infections are becoming almost untreatable. So what exactly are we up against here?
To put it simply, antibiotic resistance is basically when bacteria level up. They evolve these new defenses against the very drugs that were designed to kill them, and they turn into these formidable superbugs. Now, this is a natural process, but it's one that our widespread and, sometimes improper use of antibiotics has put into total hyperdrive. The medicines that were once these miracle cures are, well, they're losing their magic.
And we're not talking about some weird, obscure bacteria here. No, these are names you'll absolutely recognize. We're talking about super bug versions of things like MRSA, that staph infection that can be so deadly, or drug-resistant Salmonella and E. coli from contaminated food. Even things like tuberculosis and strep throat are developing these new strains that are incredibly difficult to treat, and it's turning once manageable illnesses into truly life-threatening conditions.
And the consequences, wow, they're staggering. I mean, multi-drug-resistant tuberculosis alone is responsible for 150,000 deaths a year. And as Mary Jones points out in her book, other health crises like the HIV/AIDS epidemic, which weakens people's immune systems, have only made the problem worse. It's a really sobering reminder of just how connected all these global health challenges are.
So, okay, if we're facing a future where our modern medicines are failing us, where do we even begin to look for answers? Well, the book proposes we look back. Not to abandon modern science, of course, but to rediscover this ancient wisdom that has kind of been pushed to the side for the last century.
You have to remember, long before we had pills and injections, nature was the original pharmacy. I mean, for thousands of years, cultures all across the globe relied on plants to fight infections and heal sickness. So this isn't about some new age trend, it's about re-examining this huge body of knowledge that, for the most part, we've kind of forgotten.
But hold on, right? How could something as simple as, say, garlic possibly compete with a precisely engineered pharmaceutical drug? Well, the book argues that the answer lies in one fundamental difference: complexity.
Okay, so here's the core argument, and it's really fascinating. Think of a synthetic antibiotic like penicillin as a single key for a single lock. Now, bacteria are masters of evolution. They're like master lock pickers. Eventually, they can figure out how to change the lock. But an herbal remedy? That's totally different. It's like a complex security system with hundreds of different locks and keys all working at once. It's incredibly difficult for bacteria to evolve resistance to all of those different compounds simultaneously.
Let's take garlic. It's a perfect example. A single clove isn't just one thing. It's this amazing cocktail of active ingredients. A bacteria might, just might, mutate to defend against one of those 33 sulfur compounds. But defending against all of them, plus the 17 amino acids and everything else in there, that is a much, much taller order. This natural complexity is its greatest strength. And this isn't just some theory. In fact, what's really cool is you might have some of these powerful examples with a long history of medicinal use sitting in your kitchen right now.
So, we just talked about garlic's incredible complexity, but its power has literally been tested on the battlefield. During World War II, when penicillin was hard to come by, Russian medics famously turned to garlic as a potent antibacterial agent to treat wounds. This is not just folklore, it's actual history. And then there's honey. It's another one of these ancient remedies that science is now starting to validate. See, it's not just sugar. There's a specific enzyme in honey that actually produces these small, steady amounts of hydrogen peroxide. Yeah, the same stuff that's in the brown bottle you use for cuts. And this creates an environment where a lot of bacteria just can't grow.
And for our last example, let's talk about tea tree oil. It comes from a tree native to Australia, and this essential oil has been the subject of so many studies. And you know what? The research actually confirms its powerful ability to fight off dangerous bacteria, including nasty strains of staph.
So, does all this mean we should just throw out our prescriptions and run to the spice rack? Well, not so fast. The book is really clear that the path forward requires a balanced perspective.
Look, each approach has its own strengths and weaknesses, right? Synthetic antibiotics are absolutely irreplaceable for acute, life-threatening infections. They're fast, they're powerful. Herbal remedies, on the other hand, they really shine in prevention and in helping the body through more chronic conditions, and often with fewer side effects. But they don't have the standardized dosages or the immediate raw power that you need in a medical emergency. So the crucial point here is that they play different roles.
And that is really the key takeaway. The whole conversation isn't about either or, it's about both and. Herbal remedies can be a powerful first line of defense, a way to support our immune systems every day, and a complementary therapy. They could potentially help us reduce our over-reliance on synthetic drugs, and maybe, just maybe, slow down the terrifying advance of antibiotic resistance.
Which really leaves us with this huge, fascinating question for the future, doesn't it? As the superbugs that we've helped create continue to outsmart our best drugs, maybe the ancient and complex arsenal that's found in nature's pharmacy will become one of our most important lines of defense.
If this topic has captured your interest and you'd like to dive deeper, the book is called Herbal Antibiotics: What Big Pharma Doesn't Want You to Know by Mary Jones.